Well, good weekend. Good morning, everyone. It's the first day of October and it's Saturday. And we're going to talk some baseball. Everyone say thank you to Chris because Chris bought the baseball algorithm the last couple days. And that makes me do it. Anytime anybody buys something, I have to prepare the current day's version. And even though I'm not that into baseball, we're going to go through in this video how quick it can be and how lazy you want to be if you get a copy of the file and you need to update it. And we'll also talk about if you're on an Apple or Mac device. And I mean, the timing could not be better right now. As I was looking over stocks in another video for another topic completely, and I was looking over Apple's slide in stock. And I always, kind of think about Apple and I think about how we're just updating as we go here. I have other things to talk about. I'm bored. I've been doing this forever. I've done a million videos on how to update the baseball file. Just watch. If I don't have to talk about this, we'll talk about Apple because I do have to answer a question for Chris, who has an Apple device, an Apple Excel. But as I watch their stock slide, it makes me realize that Steve Jobs was such a unique individual in how he kind of drove people to create and pushed people beyond normal human expectations. I remember I watched a documentary that was talking about how they ended up coming up with this, like the predictive text or scroll feature or touching things with words. Like when you were typing on a keyboard, when they were working with touchscreen stuff, when they were kind of creating the foundations for that technology. And I think Steve Jobs got upset with somebody who did work on that, and he was trying to type, and it wasn't intuitive on their like typable keyboard or something. And it was just so frustrating for him as he was trying to do that. He got angry, he threw the phone, he told the people, "You've got to make this better." And one of the guys who worked on it, who like had gone through like a divorce during this period of time because he's just working 20-hour days at the office trying to figure out how to solve these problems for this maniac Steve Jobs, right? And he was sitting around, he was thinking, and as we changed Jordan J Montgomery to Jordan Montgomery, Jordan, I believe, he was sitting around and I think he was playing with like a lock or something. I got to find this video because I'm not remembering the story properly to the exact detail, but just something came into his mind about like the scroll feature and the predictive text you know about what you can touch and how with your fingers. He just started thinking about tactilely how you would do it, and then he wrote some code to make it more usable. And when you think about how the iPhone, when it came out, not only was it revolutionary in terms of what it created the smartphone industry, but it was also its ease of use and the way that the human adapts to it, and that it's built for a person and not just a robot built robustly that doesn't think like a human and doesn't react like a human and has errors that a human can't fix. It was the start of that. It's one of the things that made Apple and Mac, uh, the Apple company, so profoundly impactful, and it helped humans transition into having assisted devices that are super powerful. It really ushered on that change because as an older individual, I like call myself older now. It's kind of funny. As an older person who remembers life before technology changed who we are and amplified who we are. I mean, we used to have debates about questions and people didn't know answers. And we had to go to the Encyclopedia Britannica downstairs and look up that static information as if it was the honest truth that never changes. And the world has completely changed now. I was talking to my son as they're teaching him long division in school or something, doing long division. I thought, boy, that is just about the most useless skill that you need now. That is 30, 50, 100-year-old technology to try to learn long division anymore. We have computers to do all those things, everybody. So you need to learn how to type numbers into a computer and think about typing numbers into a computer. That is the skill you need now, not handwriting long division. Humans weren't built for long division, And it makes sense. That's why we built computers to do that. So anyway, let me get back to Apple for a second. So Apple used to be a company with Steve Jobs at the helm that was doing exceptional things and was, yeah, like I said, bringing us into the next century, next millennium. They tried to do that with the Apple Watch, and I think that it that was almost kind of like a product, like a company in search of a product rather than humanity in search of what the phone does. I mean, we've all wanted a smartphone. We've all seen, Star Trek episodes from years ago where they're talking into devices, which is kind of the inspiration for the iWatch or whatever, is that you talk into your wrist or whatever. But the phone, because of the screen and everything, is amazing. I have some ideas of what Apple could do. I'm all about the goggles. I think the goggles is going to be the next one. The goggles is going to be the one where you're wearing something that is like your phone, but on your eyes, in front of your face, protecting your eyes from the sun, protecting your eyes from a random hockey puck coming and hitting you in the face. If I'm playing some roller hockey, all kinds of things it's protecting you from. It's going to be big. It's going to be robust, not too big, but big enough. And it's going to have screen inside, the lenses and everything. You're going to be able to talk to it. And it's also going to amplify vision, which is something I desperately want and need. I can't wait to be able to focus my eyes and have a lens and a camera essentially read that action for me through my screen, through my eyes, and focus in on something and essentially amplify your vision in a seamless manner. It's those types of amazing new technologies that you haven't even heard of before that are probably being developed. If they haven't, I will give people the ideas to develop them. And what that will do is it will bring humans and machines back into this, fuse together the human and the machine so that we can all amplify ourselves appropriately. That's the kind of thing Apple needs to do to get their stock back in the right place. Because while Tim Cook has been able to manage this large company effectively and profitably, his innovation bone, I mean, you can't replicate Steve Jobs. You've got Elon Musk, which is better than Steve Jobs because Elon Musk does more. But Tim Cook's no Elon Musk. He would like to buy Elon Musk. I'm sure. I think he tried and wasn't able to. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get back to baseball, and we'll talk about why I had to talk about Apple in a second. So Tommy Romero is an issue. I don't know what's going on with Tommy Romero. Let's look him up. He plays for Washington. Maybe his name's abbreviated, and I didn't realize that. Let's find him. Romero. Tommy Romero. Is he just new? Let's look for him in here. So we're just double checking that I've got him everywhere. I do. Does he not have any stats this year? So we'll go to lineups. So this is one of those weird things. We're just finalizing the lineup here. This is the second game of a doubleheader. This is why I can't stand doing baseball. Only do it when somebody pays me. Well, all right. Tell you played for Tampa Bay. So I guess we have to change somehow the pitcher lineup here. It's got him on Tampa Bay, probably. Yep, there it is. He's on Washington last year. This year it's Tampa Bay, but he's moved over to Washington. He was supposed to pitch yesterday, I think. That's probably what happened. All right, so that's probably going to fix the name. Lineup factors are all above zero, so we've got that right. Let's check the batting order pivot. Refresh here. That looks okay. And we'll probably have some predictions. And here we go. See if we got the right day in here. Yeah, it should be the first. Man, we got a lot of days. We got a lot of history. I did a lot of work on this file this year. Lordy. A lot of days. And I've actually been doing it off and on too. I just haven't been logging the days because, man, do I not care. All right, so here's the look for the day. A couple underdogs. Got in Arizona. Got blown out yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty good day. I think it was like 10-4, 11-4 is what Carlos' version had. I think mine was 10-5. So not bad. There are other things you can do to update this. Team pitching and team batting, I'm not even going to worry about it because it's not going to be that impactful. And man, just get this done. Let's get this done and over with. And okay, so the problem. All right, so here's your looks for those who care about baseball. I haven't been watching. I don't know what to tell you, honestly. But the algorithm does. So the Yeah, the algorithm did some amazing things yesterday. It predicted like a 9-1 game in one of these, and it ended up being 10-1. It was Toronto, Boston, I think. Is it 9? No, it's something crazy. It did some really interesting things yesterday. So, all right. So for today, so here's the issue. There are lineups right here. Okay. And throughout the day, the lineups will get updated right here. They'll get confirmed. And in Google Chrome, which is what I'm on, and on Microsoft Windows device or Excel for Windows or Excel for a Microsoft operating system is what you're doing here. You have this information that you copy from Google Chrome, and when you paste it in here, it's going to paste like, it's going to paste. Now, Google Chrome will be read differently potentially in the Excel version that is built for Mac and Apple. I don't even know what to call it. Apple, Mac, same thing. Macintosh, Apples. Anything other than the Windows device might be read differently, and this might be slightly different. And the pivot table reference might be different sometimes also in the way it comes in. And so I think when you're on an Apple or Mac device, sometimes this is read differently. I don't necessarily know what I have to do to fix it. It could be because there's a non-breakable space in between some of the names, which is a really weird character. Like sometimes what's in between the G and the Stanton is actually not a space bar. It's something called a NBSP or a non-breakable space, which is a different character as read by the computer, and it doesn't match exactly when you're comparing it to a blank space. So sometimes that can be part of the issue because I don't know how the Apple or Mac device reads the non-breakable space. But it brings me to the point that I'm still on Microsoft stuff because Excel's still awesome. And I had an Apple device, I had a Mac computer once. It was okay. Life was okay, but it was helpful for video editing. I got to admit that it's better for video editing, but I can't do this as fast and it doesn't work as right. So if you have an Apple Mac device, I mean, you can try to figure this out on your own, or I could try to help you out with this to figure out what's going on. But I don't want to spend my time programming for Apple and Mac devices. I actually would rather migrate all this stuff over to Google Sheets, honestly, because Google Sheets is uniformly accessible to everybody in the same format. And while I had some Google Sheets stuff going in the past, to put everything in Google Sheets requires some effort. And man, I don't even want to do baseball anymore anyway. But when it comes to other things, I'll certainly think about creating them in Google Sheets or building them in such a fashion so that we can get them into Google Sheets and have a uniformly accessible file under the same operating system, same thing, that everyone's working with the same, because that is helpful. It's helpful. So that's the look at today. Favorite. Only minus 128. You want to look for MXP factors above 20 though. And that's 19. This. So that's six games. That's Philly in one of the doubleheader games, the Dodgers, Toronto, Arizona, St. Louis, and the Yankees. And I don't know situations about playoffs does matter. Some teams are trying, some teams are not needing to. And I know it's the end of the season. I know there's an interesting series going on. I think, this Atlanta Mets series is the one to watch. I think they're fighting for the division or something. That seems like fun. I know I saw a funny ad about how in Miami they were talking about coming to Miami games to root for other teams or something like that because there's so many Mets fans in Miami, so many transplants from New York and Miami that they're just trying to get people at the stadium to watch Mets games. I like it. I mean, hey, freaking to each his own. I mean, it's baseball. It's baseball. Let's talk about camaraderie. If one thing that we've learned about sports and like Tua's injury the other night in football and stuff is that I feel like in sports, we all kind of understand that humans and how we care about people matters more almost than the outcome of the game in a lot of ways. And people are realizing that more. And so it's about camaraderie and about cheering stuff on almost. And that's better for sports, I think. All right. So good luck, everybody. I hope I answered a question and gave you a dissertation about why Apple needs to do things if they want to get their stock out of the rut that they're in. And I think they're trying to work on a car also, which is a huge undertaking if you've never built a car before. So that's probably why we haven't heard anything about that if that is happening. All right, guys, good luck, everyone. BLR picks be winning. If you want a copy of the baseball algorithm, you can buy one And you can strong arm me into doing this every day for the rest of the season and for the playoffs. Because if somebody buys it, I will do it. That's how things work. All right. Good luck, everyone. Mail, your picks be winning.